Hi everyone, what I'm wanting to share in this video is about my grow light stand and how I'm using it with my dwarf banana plant. I'll share the story behind this and why I've pursued this at the end of the video, because it's a repeat of content that I've previously shared on my YouTube channel. But it may be nice for people that see this video who maybe know someone who has a physical disability or chronic pain to consider this as a suggestion in helping one of their friends or family members. So this is a look at the grow light stand that I've created. What you need for it are 6 elbows, 2 T's, 2 couplers, about 20 feet of conduit or pipe, depending on what word you would use, and then also some sand, the PVC solvent for solvent welding, and finally some duct tape, or at least some tape that's got some guts to the adhesive on it. If you want to, capture a picture of the screen right now so that you can see what the finished product looks like, in case you're not familiar with using plumbing parts for building different types of objects. You know, these parts kind of work like Lego. And what I mean is the pipe is meant to fit into the coupler or fit into the T. You don't necessarily have to solvent weld it together. I chose to because of the base containing sand. So the first part's going to be cutting the pieces to length. So what I decided for the side pieces is to do 4 pieces that are 8 inches long. So that would mean that the depth of it is roughly 16 inches. It's technically a little bit more once you add in the middle T and the elbows, but like I was thinking 16 inches. And then you need to decide on your width of it. And for me, I also selected 16 inches. For this, you need to have 3 16-inch pieces. 2 are the base, and then there's the one up top that the grow light is bolted or connected onto. The next 2 pieces are what goes into the T's that helps join on the sides. So those 2 are 24 inches long. And then what I did with these pieces I've just talked about is put a piece of tape at the bottom of the conduit, filled it with sand, and then kind of shook it just a little bit to get the sand all the way down, and just kept topping it up, and then a piece of tape on the top, and then trim around it so it's a circle the same width as the pipe. And after this, I solvent welded it together, and that wasn't hard to do. What I did was the 2 pieces of 8-inch lengths into the T. I did that twice, and then I took the 2-foot piece and shoved it into the upright part of the T, and then solvent welded the couplers onto the end. And then for the final part that has the end pieces go on, what I did was fit them on and then drew a little pencil line so that I knew where to line up the solvent welding for connecting the second elbow. The way I did this was put it upside down and then had it and sort of wiggled the elbows into place, then did my pencil marks, and then took it off, sanded, solvent weld, other side, solvent weld. You only have about 3 seconds worth when you're solvent welding. And a little tip for you if you do any of this stuff, what you'd want to do is about a quarter turn. So put it on not quite right where you have to turn it into position, so it helps smear the PVC solvent around on the join that you're making. And solvent welding on the couplers is also straightforward. Now the next part is doing the pair of elbows on the top part that's going to have the grow light hanging down from it. So again, I did the same as the others, lining it up on the floor, pencil mark on either side, and then solvent weld it together. And then I took my drill and lined up the grow light holes for where it's meant to fasten, and then some 1/4-inch eye bolts that are 3 inches long, got them on both sides, and a carabiner to hang the light off of. And you end up with that. So I did not solvent weld the top parts together. I only did the top part that the light's joined to, but not the posts that go up. And the reason I did this is so that that length of pipe could be changed over time depending on what your needs are, depending on what you're growing. And it's a really simple build. Now, you could do it a little bit differently. You could choose to do 4-inch holes all the way up on the high piece and go up to your ceiling, and then just use a bolt. And for the T, you would T the grow light piece so it moved up and down, and just use a bolt through the 1/4-inch hole to keep the light from going any lower than that point. So it'd be kind of like an elevator where floor 1's 4 inches up and floor 2 is 8 inches, 12 inches, 16 inches, etc. So if you did that, you would also need to have 2 T's that are 1 inches on the sides and then 3/4 of an inch sticking out. And that 1 inch would sort of let the 3/4 pipe fit over top of it, kind of like putting your sock onto your foot. And then you would have a piece at the top that would just be for stability. Anyway, that's what I've done for my grow light. And the plug, that's the last thing I want to talk about in this. The plug itself is a smart plug. And then I programmed it with the Smart Life app, and for this plant I set it for 4 hours on, 4 hours off, 4 on, 4 off, 4 on, 4 off, and that spreads it throughout the day. You need to look at what you're growing for how long it should have light, and the physical distance between the plant and the light at the different stages. And by different stages, when it's a seed, when it's just wee, and then when it grows a little bit taller, and when it's about to flower or produce fruit, for example, like if you're starting off tomato plants in the winter months to be transplanted into your garden. Anyway, I hope this gives enough of an overview on how to do the project. I really enjoy this type of stuff, and being able to see what I've created and using my hands brings me a lot of satisfaction. You know, the story behind why I've made this is pretty straightforward. I read a news article where a doctor gave one of his patients a banana plant to grow. The patient wasn't coping well at all after a life-changing motor vehicle accident, and it was to give him purpose and to start having him do something each day instead of very, very, very crippling depression. And it worked, and he went on to grow bananas as income for employment. Anyway, I just wanted to mention this for those who have friends. You know, you can't fix the body of someone in chronic pain. You're able to do things to help out, like pick up groceries, or maybe go buy something at the store, or if it's a pay online pickup at the store, bring it to their home to help them out. And giving someone a plant to help them that are struggling in life may be another option for them. Anyway, I hope you're doing well. Thanks for this time that you spent with me today. Bye for now.